Just a week ago, there was great controversy because former President Barack Hussein Obama said that Black men in some measure were not voting for Vice President Kamala Harris because they're not feeling a woman being in charge. Brothers, come on. You were raised by a single mother. Black women have supported Black men in every area of our lives and every area of our history. It's time for Black women to lead because they have proven, shown, modeled, and demonstrated that they're able to do it. I came today, while I am a supporter of the Vice President, I came today because I wanted us to assemble and put together Black men on heaven's agenda.
The video I did yesterday, I talked about how the Black community is more religious than biblical. That is a fact. The Black community is the most religious ethnicity there is in America. Very, very religious. But just because you are religious does not mean you're biblical. Just because you're religious does not mean you're Christian. Because Jesus said, if you continue in my words, then you are my disciples indeed. And then you'll know the truth, and the truth will set you free. He also said, why do you call me Lord, Lord, and you don't do what I say? That applies to a lot of people in Christendom, but especially those who go to the Black church. Because it's easy to be religious and not biblical. It's easy to be cultural and not biblical. And it's easy to support the Democratic Party and all the anti-God, anti-biblical, anti-American stances that it has when you're religious and not biblical. Because when you're biblical, the word of God drives your decision making. For as many as are led by the Spirit of God, these are the sons of God. See, the word of God, the Spirit of God drives your decision making. And you will not make a decision that is an outright hostility to what you believe. You will not decide to vote for a party that's outright hostile to what you believe and in whom you believe. But when you're cultural, when you're religious, man, that stuff doesn't matter. You put God in a shelf. You put Jesus in a shelf. You're just driven by emotion. Because at the end of the day, race and ethnicity is more important to you than standing on the principles of God. And you know who pushes this stuff the most? These church plant pastors like Jamal, Bryant.
Just hours before my Gideon's army of new birth, 300 men came together, the Vice President unfolded an agenda for Black men if she becomes elected. She said for Black men, she was going to release and dispatch 1 million loans, 20,000 apiece, to start a business. $1,020,000 loans, forgivable business loans for Black men to start businesses. Because in the area, in the arena of health, Black men inequitably are impacted by sickle cell. She is a designated task force to see what can happen to stem the tide and to turn around those negative numbers. Did you realize, I didn't, that only 1% of teachers in the classroom, only 1% of teachers in classrooms across America are Black men? You take away Jim, we're in trouble. And so she's doing a stimulus to get more Black male teachers. To do something is the Vice President's desire for Black men to be able to get economic parity and occupational access, even if they do not have a college degree. Yeah. And you were saying, wow, I didn't even hear about it, because they're not really carrying it on the news. Just a week ago, there was great controversy because former President Barack Hussein Obama, said that Black men in some measure were not voting for Vice President Kamala Harris because they're not feeling a woman being in charge. Brothers, come on. You were raised by a single mother. Black women have supported Black men in every area of our lives and every area of our history. It's time for Black women to lead because they have proven, shown, modeled, and demonstrated that they're able to do it.
And see, that's what I'm talking about when it comes to being religious and not biblical. There's nowhere in the Word of God that says that a woman should lead. Is a woman just as valuable as a man? Of course, in the eyes of God. Of course, it's not about value. It's about the roles of a man and a woman. And as a man of God, if you stood on the biblical truth that's found in the Word of God, then you would not fix your mouth to say things that are not in alignment with the Word of God. You would not fix your mouth to say things that are more in alignment with your vice president that you support than with biblical truth. But because you are more religious than Christian, because you are a church plant pastor, you are going to get on this Zoom and advocate for the policies of the Democratic Party. You vote based on the platform, because the platform is what that candidate is going to push through. The platform is what that candidate is going to stand on. The platform is what the people that support that candidate, the one that gives them money, will ensure that that person executes when that person gets in office. So as a biblical Christian, as a biblical conservative, you cannot in your right mind vote for a party whose platform is anti-God, anti-family, and anti-biblical. You can't. But if you're cultural, if you're religious, then you can. If you're compromised, then you can. Jamal Bryant is compromised. So therefore, he's causing Christians to be biblically illiterate. He's producing biblically illiterate Christians because a lot of Christians will listen to him and abide by his advice instead of taking the time to read the Word of God, be led by the Spirit of God, and make decisions accordingly. And he's not by himself.
I said this on last Sunday, that this is the most crucial and critical election, at least of my lifetime, that is coming up. It is something we cannot play with. We cannot play with. I tell people all the time, this is not about history. It's about destiny. And the destiny will happen to make history. Now, I can't tell y'all what to do. You know the rules. I did have a call this week with one of the lawyers from the Harris-Walz campaign and told me what I could tell y'all what I'm going to do. I just can't tell y'all what to do. So I can tell y'all what, I know what I'm going to do. Ain't no doubt in my mind what I'm going to do. The only walls that I'm talking about are not the walls he lied about putting up. It's the walls we going to put in as vice president. And the Harris that I choose, me, not Bishop Rudolph Waldo Mckisset Jr., born September 24th, 1965, and is a citizen of the United States. That's what I'm going to do. I cannot tell you as a church what to do. I cannot tell you anything like that. But I'm telling you, it is the choice between progress and petulance. I don't need a
And you see, that's why I call them church plant pastors. You notice he had a call with the Harris-Walz campaign to let him know what he could and could not say. This is the perfect example of a church plant up there advocating for a party that wants to push anti-God stuff on your families. But yet he says it's about progress and petulance. See, that's why it's people like this that produce biblically illiterate folks. People that go to their church are going to sit there, clap, and say, yeah, that's what it's about. and they are not even spiritually discerning the times, man. They're not spiritually discerning what is really going on. And it's sad because people like him are leading those folks in that church to hell. They are literally on their way to hell because they're deciding to ride with this church plant pastor who is not giving them the truth.
80-year-old child trying to run the country I love. Now, I'm going to say this and then I'm going to let Pastor introduce our guest. For those who might be saying, I don't see how you can support anybody that would be in favor of killing our children. That's a argument y'all don't want to have.
Because you can't stand on truth with that. That's why you don't want to have that argument. It's not really even an argument. It's a fact. The Democratic Party is the party of death. The Democratic Party is a death cult. They are. And the Republican Party is not that far behind them. But the Democratic Party states that they want to push abortion at any time, anywhere. The Democratic Party is all about the transgendering of children, the mutilation of children. The Democratic Party is all about the LGBTQ. It's all about drag queens in schools. It's all about pronouns. But yet you call yourself a man of God?
Because if y'all want to go to the Bible and claim that a person doesn't support the Bible, he's an adulterer. That's in the Bible. He's a bigot. That's in the Bible. He's a liar. That's in the Bible. And y'all don't support our children when they get out the womb. So don't go to the Bible to try to tell me why I ought not support somebody, because your candidate breaks sins every day. And secondly, the United States ain't a church, it's a country. This ain't about discipleship, it's about citizenship. Now in here, that might be a different story, but in the country, every citizen gets rights. That's just my little take, because I'm so sick of folk on social media. How in the world you supporting when I can't support anybody who kills babies? Oh, I almost said bad word. You supporting a candidate and a party that kills our children, that wants to do away with health care, that wants to do away with mothers having the money they need for daycare so they could go back to work. You want to do away with all of that? Please hold your righteous indignation and your one-trick pony for somebody who don't know the Bible, because that ain't a dialogue y'all want to. Okay, I'm done. I'm sorry. Y'all know I've been out for like 8-9 weeks. I got pent up stuff inside.
All due respect, sir, you don't know the Bible. Because if you really knew the Bible, then first of all, you will want to have the church influence the culture. You'll want to have people in government that makes it easier for you to stand on biblical truth, sir. It'll make it easier for you to preach the gospel. The people you're supporting, Kamala Harris and those Democrats, they want to. But see, I know what it is. You support that LGBTQ lifestyle, man, because you're more religious than you are biblical. I wish I would have that discussion with that pastor. I would have a legitimate civil discussion with him from the word of God. And as I've said over and over and over again, you don't vote based on personality, you vote based on platform, because the platform is what people are going to execute when they get in office. But see, people like him and Jamal Bryant, those are the church plant pastors that have been placed in the black community to keep the black people in check. They're the ones that produce biblically illiterate Christians, and they're going to be held accountable for that. They're making those people victims. We're not victims. We are empowered for greatness.